Hello everyone, success does not happen randomly. It is not the result of luck or chance, but a direct consequence of patterns, behaviors, and mindsets that have been repeatedly applied over time. If you look at the most successful people in any industry, you will find that they follow a set of principles that lead to their achievements. These patterns are not exclusive to them. They are available to anyone willing to study, understand, and implement them. The key to success is recognizing these patterns and making them a part of your daily life. Everything in life operates on patterns, whether it is in nature, business, or personal development. When you understand this, you realize that you don't have to reinvent the wheel to achieve success. Instead, you can study those who have already paved the way and replicate their strategies. This applies to every field, from entrepreneurship to fitness, relationships, and personal finance. Successful people follow systems that produce results, and these systems can be learned by anyone. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that success is a matter of luck. They look at billionaires, top athletes, or influential leaders and assume they were just in the right place at the right time. While external circumstances do play a role, they are not the defining factor. If success were purely about luck, we would not see the same individuals winning repeatedly across different industries. The reason these people continue to achieve greatness is that they have mastered certain behaviors that drive results. They don't just hope for success, they create it. The first step in understanding success patterns is recognizing the habits and decisions that lead to predictable outcomes. For example, successful entrepreneurs consistently invest in personal growth, take calculated risks, and surround themselves with the right people. They do not wait for opportunities, they create them by being proactive and persistent. Similarly, top athletes do not just rely on talent. They train harder, recover better, and maintain a winning mindset. The most successful individuals across all industries have rituals and routines that set them apart. When you start identifying these patterns, you can begin applying them to your own life. One of the most powerful ways to do this is by studying biographies, interviews, and case studies of successful people. Pay attention to how they think, how they make decisions, and how they handle challenges. More importantly, look at what they do on a daily basis. Success is not a one-time event. It is the result of consistent actions taken over time. One of the core patterns of success is a commitment to continuous learning. The world's most successful individuals are always growing, reading, and evolving. They do not settle for what they already know. They actively seek out new knowledge and apply it. They also embrace feedback and failure as part of the process. Instead of fearing mistakes, they use them as learning experiences to refine their approach. This mindset separates the best from the rest. Another crucial success pattern is having a clear vision and purpose. People who achieve great things do not wander aimlessly. They know exactly what they want and why they want it. They set clear goals and break them down into actionable steps. They do not get distracted by temporary setbacks because they are focused on the bigger picture. This level of clarity allows them to stay persistent even when faced with obstacles. Discipline and consistency are also key factors in success patterns. It is not about doing something once and expecting results. It is about showing up every day and putting in the work. Successful individuals understand that success is a game of compounding effort. Every small action builds upon the last, creating unstoppable momentum. This is why routines and habits are so important. They remove the need for motivation and turn success into an automatic process. Mastering emotional control is another pattern found in high achievers. They do not let fear, doubt, or negativity dictate their actions. Instead, they train their minds to focus on solutions, possibilities, and opportunities. They understand that mindset is everything and that controlling their thoughts leads to controlling their outcomes. Instead of reacting emotionally to challenges, they respond strategically. Networking and building relationships is another pattern that consistently leads to success. The most influential people in the world understand the value of connections. They do not operate in isolation. They surround themselves with other driven, intelligent, and resourceful individuals. They seek mentorship, collaborate with experts, and build teams that elevate their success. Proximity is power, and successful people know that who they spend time with directly impacts their growth. Taking massive action is another fundamental success pattern. High achievers do not overthink, procrastinate, or wait for the perfect moment. They take bold, decisive action even when they do not have all the answers. They understand that progress comes from movement, not from hesitation. They take risks, fail fast, learn quickly, and keep moving forward. Ultimately, success leaves clues. If you want to achieve greatness, study those who have already done it. Identify their patterns, implement their strategies, and commit to taking consistent action. Success is not reserved for the lucky or the talented. It is available to anyone willing to follow the blueprint that has already been proven to work. Success is not a matter of talent alone. It is about mastering the power of habits. The most successful people in the world do not rely on motivation because they know it is unreliable. Instead, they build daily habits that drive them forward regardless of how they feel. Habits are the invisible force that shapes outcomes over time. When you adopt the right ones, success becomes inevitable. It is not about making one big decision that changes your life. It is about consistently making small, disciplined choices every single day. Every habit starts with a choice, but once it becomes ingrained in your routine, it no longer requires effort. Successful individuals understand this principle and use it to their advantage. They develop habits that support their vision, making progress automatic. The key is to build habits that align with long-term goals rather than short-term gratification. The right habits compound over time, creating unstoppable momentum. One of the most important habits of high achievers is controlling their morning routine. How you start your day determines how the rest of it will unfold. Successful people do not wake up and react to life. They wake up and take control. They have rituals that set their mindset, energy, and focus for the day. Whether it is exercise, meditation, journaling, or strategic planning, they prime themselves for peak performance. A chaotic morning leads to a chaotic day, while an intentional morning sets the stage for success. Another habit that separates the best from the rest is their approach to continuous learning. Growth is not something they do occasionally. It is a way of life. They dedicate time every day to expanding their knowledge, sharpening their skills, and learning from others. They read books, listen to podcasts, and study the habits of those who have already achieved what they aspire to. This constant pursuit of growth gives them an edge in every area of life. They are not afraid to challenge their own beliefs, seek feedback, and revolve. High achievers also have the habit of taking immediate action. Most people hesitate, overthink, and wait for the perfect moment. Successful individuals do the opposite. They understand that action creates clarity, momentum, and confidence. Instead of getting stuck in analysis paralysis, they make decisions quickly and adjust along the way. This habit of execution separates the dreamers from the doers. They know that an imperfect action is always better than no action at all. Another defining habit is how successful people handle challenges and setbacks. They do not see problems as roadblocks. They see them as opportunities to grow. They train their minds to stay resilient, focusing on solutions rather than problems. While most people get discouraged by failure, they use it as feedback to improve. This habit of reframing obstacles as stepping stones allows them to keep moving forward when others quit. They also have the habit of surrounding themselves with the right people. Success is not a solo journey. It is influenced by the people you spend time with. High achievers intentionally build relationships with individuals who challenge them, inspire them, and hold them to a higher standard. They do not waste time with negativity, drama, or mediocrity. They seek out mentors, masterminds, and networks that accelerate their growth. Prioritization is another critical habit. Successful people do not get lost in busy work. They focus on the tasks that move the needle. They apply the 80/20 rule, understanding that 20% of their efforts produce 80% of their results. They do not waste time on distractions or activities that do not align with their bigger vision. They are ruthless with their time, ensuring every action brings them closer to their goals. Consistency is what ties all these habits together. Most people get excited about success for a short period, but then they lose momentum. High achievers build habits that are sustainable. They show up every day, whether they feel like it or not. They understand that results come from repetition, not from occasional bursts of effort. Their habits become their identity, making success a natural byproduct of who they are. Success leaves clues, and one of the most powerful clues successful people leave behind is their ability to master their mindset. Everything starts in the mind. The way you think, what you focus on, and how you interpret challenges determine your results in life. Successful people do not let circumstances control them. They take control of their minds, shaping their beliefs and emotions to fuel their success. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who struggle is not just in their actions, but in their thinking. They develop a mindset that propels them forward no matter what obstacles stand in their way. One of the key mindset shifts successful people make is replacing excuses with responsibility. Average people look for reasons why they cannot succeed. They blame external factors, the economy, their upbringing, their lack of resources. But those who rise to the top take full ownership of their lives. They do not wait for opportunities, they create them. They understand that no one is coming to save them, and their success is entirely in their hands. This level of accountability gives them the power to change their circumstances instead of being victims of them. Successful individuals have mastered the ability to turn failure into fuel. Most people fear failure so much that they never take the risks necessary to grow. They let past mistakes define them, and they give up too soon. But those who achieve great things see failure differently. They view it as feedback, a necessary part of the learning process. They understand that every setback brings them closer to success because it reveals what does not work. Instead of getting discouraged, they analyze their failures, adjust their approach, and try again. This resilience is what allows them to keep pushing forward when others quit. Another critical mental shift is focusing on solutions rather than problems. Most people get stuck in negative thinking when they face challenges. They dwell on the difficulty, complain about the situation, and let fear take over. But successful individuals train themselves to look for solutions immediately. They do not waste energy on problems they cannot control. Instead, they direct their focus toward finding ways to move forward. This habit of solution-oriented thinking allows them to maintain momentum, no matter what challenges arise. Successful people also condition their minds for confidence. They do not wait for external validation to believe in themselves. They build self-confidence through repetition, preparation, and positive self-talk. They program their subconscious mind with empowering beliefs by consistently reinforcing their strengths and potential. They visualize their success, set clear goals, and affirm their ability to achieve them. Confidence is not something they are born with. It is something they develop through daily mental conditioning. Another defining trait is emotional mastery. Life is unpredictable and challenges will always come. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is how they manage their emotions. Successful individuals train themselves to stay calm under pressure. They do not let fear, doubt, or frustration control their decisions. They use techniques like meditation, breathing exercises, and reframing thoughts to maintain emotional balance. This ability to stay composed allows them to make better choices and navigate challenges with clarity and focus. They also understand the power of their inner circle. The people you surround yourself with shape your mindset. Successful individuals intentionally build relationships with those who inspire and challenge them. They do not tolerate negativity, gossip, or people who drain their energy. Instead, they seek out mentors, coaches, and like-minded individuals who push them to grow. They protect their mental space, ensuring that their environment supports their success rather than holding them back. They embrace lifelong learning, knowing that personal growth never stops. They read books, listen to mentors, and continuously seek knowledge that sharpens their mindset. They understand that to stay at the top, they must keep evolving. They do not cling to old beliefs or resist change. Instead, they welcome new perspectives, adapt to new strategies, and remain open to learning from every experience. This hunger for growth keeps them ahead of the curve. They also practice gratitude daily. Instead of focusing on what they lack, they train their minds to appreciate what they have. Gratitude shifts their perspective, making them more resilient and optimistic. It keeps them in a state of abundance rather than scarcity. This mental shift allows them to attract more opportunities and approach challenges with a positive attitude. Successful people understand that success is not a solo journey. It is built on relationships, collaboration, and learning from others who have already walked the path. They do not try to reinvent the wheel or struggle alone when the answers are already out there. They seek out mentors, coaches, and role models who can guide them, shorten their learning curve, and help them avoid costly mistakes. The fastest way to success is not trial and error. It is modeling those who have already achieved what you want. When you study successful individuals, you recognize patterns, strategies, and habits that consistently lead to great results. They know that mentorship is one of the most powerful tools for accelerating growth. A great mentor provides perspective, wisdom, and accountability. They see things you might miss, challenge your limiting beliefs, and push you to think bigger than you ever thought possible. Successful people do not let ego get in the way of learning. They actively seek out Those who have more experience and absorb every piece of knowledge they can, they understand that the right mentor can save them years of struggle by giving them direct access to the insights they need. They also surround themselves with high achievers. Success leaves clues, and one of the biggest clues is the people you associate with. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are constantly around people who make excuses, lack ambition, and settle for mediocrity, their mindset will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with driven, successful individuals who challenge you to level up, your standards will rise naturally. Successful people are intentional about their environment. They cut out toxic relationships, eliminate negative influences, and create a circle of people who inspire and push them forward. They recognize that success is not just about receiving knowledge, it is also about contribution. Those who achieve massive success do not just take, they give. They mentor others, share their knowledge, and help people grow. When you teach what you have learned, you reinforce it within yourself, deepening your understanding. Giving back also creates powerful connections and opportunities. The most successful individuals understand that life is about adding value to others. When you make a difference in people's lives, you build trust, attract new opportunities, and create a lasting impact. They know that success is a lifelong journey, not a destination. The most successful individuals are always learning, adapting, and growing. They do not cling to outdated methods or resist change. Instead, they embrace new ideas, technologies, and perspectives that can help them improve. They have a growth mindset, meaning they believe their abilities are not fixed, but can be developed through effort and learning. This mindset allows them to keep evolving, stay ahead of the competition, and continue achieving at higher level. They also study history, business strategies, and human behavior. They recognize that success is built on universal principles that have been proven time and time again. Instead of getting caught up in distractions, they focus on timeless fundamentals like leadership, discipline, resilience, and vision. They understand that trends change, but principles remain the same. By mastering these principles, they position themselves for long-term success rather than short-term wins. They leverage the power of networking and relationships. Opportunities come from people, and the most successful individuals know how to build genuine connections. They do not network just to get something. They build real, lasting relationships based on mutual value. They listen, provide support, and always look for ways to help others succeed. Because of this, they attract powerful allies who open doors, provide resources, and create new possibility. They understand that one conversation, one introduction, or one collaboration can completely change the trajectory of their lives. They also know the importance of humility. No matter how much success they achieve, they remain students of life. They do not assume they know everything or let their ego block new learning. They ask questions, stay curious, and remain open to feedback. This humility keeps them adaptable and constantly improving. They understand that the moment you think you have arrived is the moment you stop growing. They value collaboration over competition. Instead of seeing others as threats, they look for ways to work together. They understand that true success is not about stepping on others, but about lifting people up. By creating win-win situations, they build long-term success rather than short-term gains. They believe in abundance rather than scarcity. Knowing that there is enough success for everyone, they are intentional about who they learn from. They do not take advice from just anyone. They seek out mentors and experts who have real results. They understand that listening to the wrong people can set them back, while learning from the right individuals can propel them forward faster than they ever imagined. Successful individuals understand that success is a process, not a one-time event. They recognize that every great achievement is built upon a foundation of consistency, discipline, and continuous growth. Instead of seeking overnight success, they commit to the long game, refining their skills and making steady progress every day. They do not allow distractions to derail them because they know that true mastery comes from repetition and persistence. They are relentless in their pursuit of improvement, always looking for ways to refine their strategies and elevate their performance. They have an unshakable belief in their ability to succeed. They do not let failures define them. Instead, they use setbacks as stepping stones toward greater achievements. They view challenges as opportunities to grow and strengthen their resilience. When they hit roadblocks, they do not retreat or give up. They ask themselves powerful questions. What can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become stronger? They train their minds to focus on solutions rather than problems, which allows them to overcome any obstacles standing in their way. They take extreme ownership of their results. They do not blame circumstances, other people, or external factors for their success or failure. Instead, they take full responsibility for everything in their life. They know that by taking ownership, they gain control over their destiny. When something does not go as planned, they do not waste time making excuses. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and move forward with even more determination. They refuse to have a victim mentality because they understand that success belongs to those who are willing to own their choices, actions, and mindset. They are obsessed with personal development. They do not see learning as something that ends after formal education. They are constantly feeding their minds with powerful knowledge, reading books, attending seminars, and surrounding themselves with people who challenge them to grow. They know that stagnation leads to mediocrity, and the only way to stay ahead is to keep evolving. They invest time and energy into improving their mindset, skills, and emotional intelligence because they understand that their level of success is directly tied to their level of growth. They operate with an unshakable vision. They are crystal clear on what they want to achieve and why it matters to them. Their vision is not vague or uncertain. It is detailed, powerful, and emotionally compelling. They know that when they have a strong enough reason, they will find a way to make it happen. They visualize their goals every single day, immersing themselves in the emotions of already having achieved them. This keeps them motivated, focused, and driven, even when challenges arise. Their vision fuels them, reminding them that they are working towards something bigger than themselves. They take massive action. They do not just talk about success or dream about it, they move. They are relentless in pursuing their goals, taking bold and decisive action every single day. They do not wait for the perfect moment or the right opportunity. They create opportunities through their actions. They know that execution is everything. While others get stuck in analysis paralysis or fear of failure, they push forward, knowing that imperfect action is better than no action at all. They learn from experience, adapt, and keep refining their approach until they get the results they want. They are highly disciplined. They understand that motivation is fleeting, and they do not rely on feeling inspired to take action. Instead, they build habits and routines that keep them on track. They wake up early, plan their days, and prioritize the tasks that move them closer to their goals. They do not allow distractions, procrastination, or temporary discomfort to interfere with their progress. They master their emotions, knowing that true discipline comes from doing what needs to be done even when they do not feel like it. They surround themselves with winners. They know that environment is stronger than willpower, so they intentionally build a circle of people who push them to be better. They do not waste time with negative, toxic, or small-minded individuals who drain their energy. Instead, they seek out mentors, high achievers, and those who challenge them to level up. They understand that success is contagious, and by surrounding themselves with people who embody the mindset and habits they aspire to, they accelerate their own growth and results. They embrace discomfort. They know that growth happens outside of their comfort zone, while others avoid difficult conversations, high-stakes decisions, and situations that stretch them. They lean into those challenges. They welcome adversity because they understand that it makes them stronger, sharper, and more capable. They do not let fear control them. Instead, they use it as a compass, guiding them toward the areas where they need to grow. They train their minds to thrive under pressure, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to become more powerful. They commit to excellence in everything they do. They do not settle for average or mediocre results. Whether it is their career, relationships, or personal growth, they demand the best from themselves. They do not take shortcuts, cut corners, or do just enough to get by. They hold themselves to the highest standards and expect nothing less than greatness. They understand that success is not about luck. It is about being the best at what they do and continuously raising the bar. Successful individuals have a relentless commitment to mastering their craft. They do not settle for average or mediocre results because they understand that mastery is the key to long-term success. They approach their work with precision, focusing on every detail, refining their skills, and constantly improving their approach. They recognize that true mastery requires time, effort, and persistence, and they are willing to put in the work every single day. Instead of seeking quick wins or temporary success, they build a solid foundation that allows them to consistently perform at the highest level. They understand the power of emotional intelligence. They know that success is not just about intelligence, talent, or strategy. It is about mastering emotions and learning how to manage energy, stress, and focus. They do not allow setbacks to destroy their confidence or derail their progress. Instead, they develop the ability to remain calm under pressure, adapt to challenges, and respond to situations with clarity. They train themselves to handle criticism, rejection, and uncertainty with resilience. They do not let fear, doubt, or negative emotions control their decisions. Instead, they take control of their thoughts and emotions, ensuring that their mindset remains strong and unshaken, no matter the circumstances. They take full control of their time. They do not allow distractions to dictate their schedule or waste hours on unproductive activities. They structure their days with intentionality, prioritizing the tasks that create the biggest impact. They know that time is the most valuable resource, and they treat it as such. They wake up early, eliminate unnecessary distractions, and focus on what truly matters. They understand that success is not about being busy, it is about being productive. They optimize their time, automate repetitive tasks, and delegate responsibilities so they can focus on the actions that drive massive results. They operate with an unstoppable work ethic. They do not rely on motivation to take action because they know that motivation is unreliable. Instead, they develop self-discipline and build habits that keep them on track. They push through discomfort, fatigue, and self-doubt because they understand that success is earned through consistent effort. They do not look for shortcuts or easy ways out. They embrace the grind, knowing that every challenge they overcome makes them stronger and more prepared for the next level. While others make excuses, they find solutions. While others hesitate, they take action. They embody persistence, refusing to quit until they achieve their goals. They cultivate an unbreakable belief in themselves. They understand that their mindset determines their results. They do not allow self-doubt to hold them back or negative thoughts to dictate their actions. Instead, they reprogram their thinking, replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. They constantly reinforce their confidence through positive self-talk, visualization, and affirmations. They remind themselves daily that they are capable of achieving anything they set their minds to. They do not wait for external validation or permission to succeed. They give themselves permission to take risks, step into their power, and create the life they desire. They are relentless learners. They never assume they know it all or have reached the peak of their potential. They invest in their education, seeking out knowledge from the best in the world. They study successful people, read books, attend seminars, and learn from mentors. They remain curious, always looking for ways to improve and grow. They understand that the moment they stop learning is the moment they stop progressing. They are humble enough to recognize that there is always more to learn, and they actively seek out information that will sharpen their skills, expand their mindset, and increase their effectiveness. They thrive on taking massive, imperfect action. They do not wait for the perfect plan or the perfect moment to begin. They take action now, knowing that results come from movement, not hesitation. They are not afraid to fail because they understand that failure is simply feedback. Every mistake they make brings them closer to success. They embrace trial and error, testing different approaches and adjusting their strategies based on experience. While others are stuck overanalyzing and waiting for certainty, they are in motion, learning and adapting along the way. They know that speed and execution separate winners from those who never achieve their dreams. They create unstoppable momentum. They do not rely on motivation that comes and goes. Instead, they develop habits that keep them in a state of continuous progress. They build rituals that fuel their energy, strengthen their discipline, and reinforce their commitment. They wake up every day with a clear mission and take small, consistent actions that compound over time. They know that momentum is the force that drives success, and once they build it, they do everything to keep it going. They do not allow themselves to slow down, hesitate, or fall into complacency. They stay in motion, pushing forward with intensity and determination. They are strategic risk takers. They do not avoid risks out of fear, nor do they take reckless actions without thought. Instead, they assess opportunities carefully, weighing the potential rewards against the risks. They understand that every breakthrough requires stepping outside their comfort zone and taking calculated risks. They do not allow fear of failure to hold them back because they know that failure is a necessary part of growth. They take bold action, confident in their ability to adapt and find solutions if things do not go as planned. They see risk as an essential ingredient of success, using it to propel themselves forward rather than allowing it to keep them stuck. They are visionaries who think big. They do not set small, safe goals that keep them within their current limits. They dream bigger than most people dare to. They push beyond their perceived limitations, refusing to settle for mediocrity. They expand their thinking, seeing possibilities where others see obstacles. They do not accept a life of average results because they know they are capable of extraordinary achievements. They align their actions with their vision, constantly stretching themselves to reach higher levels of success. They set ambitious goals, take bold steps, and refuse to play small. They know that the only way to create an extraordinary life is to think beyond what seems possible and go after it with everything they have.